meals is absinthe. Absinthe. What y'all know about absinthe? I know absinthe has some like crazy ass histories behind it. Don't be afraid of absinthe. Absinthe is your friend. Heard about absinthe in the past and they've heard about what it does, but they're like really unfamiliar with it. They heard that absinthe makes you hallucinate, that people kill themselves over absinthe. Like, you hear all kinds of great pairing of an absinthe with a mezcal or gin is yum. I'll have to try that. That seems a lot for me. But let's talk about the history of absinthe. Absinthe used like anise and wormwood to give it that herbal taste that you get. There's actually 3 parts of it. Well, 3 main things you need to have inside of it for it to be an absinthe. So we'll talk about that shortly. Absinthe was tied to people who were having these hallucinations, people who would get crazy and do crazy things, and it started earning this bad rap. It makes people just lose their flipping mind. This is not the case. So what happened in absinthe situation is absinthe, it was visited by some motherfucking haters. Absinthe is an anise-flavored spirit derived from several plants, including the flowers and leaves of Artemisia absinthium, or grand wormwood, together with green anise, sweet fennel. Historically described as a highly alcoholic spirit, it is 45 to 74% ABV, or 90 to 148 US proof. So that's kind of strong. All right. Absinthe is traditionally bottled at a high level of alcohol by volume. That's what we just talked about. But it is normally diluted with water before being consumed. If you were to drink liquor in the straight way that it comes out, we would probably die. Our mouths would just fall apart just because of the pure alcohol. Absinthe originated in the canton of Neufchâtel in Switzerland in the late 18th century. It rose to great popularity as an alcoholic drink in the late 19th and early 20th century France, particularly among Parisian artists and writers. Those are the people, those were the woke crowd where they just sat around and just talked about, hey, you know what? Wouldn't it be crazy if the people had the power? You didn't say. Absinthe was opposed by social conservatives and prohibitionists, partly due to its association with bohemian culture or hippies. Doesn't that sound like that's something familiar today? Mm-hmm. History is not necessarily new. It always just repeats itself, just in different ways. From Europe and the Americas, notable absinthe drinkers included Ernest Hemingway, Charles Baudelaire, Henri de Toulouse-Lautrec, Pablo Picasso, Vincent van Gogh, Oscar Wilde, and Aleister Crowley, as well as Edgar Allan Poe. Absinthe has been often portrayed as a dangerously addictive psychoactive drug and hallucinogen. The chemical compound thujone, which is present in the spirit in trace amounts, was blamed for its alleged harmful effects. In order for you really to have some effects from thujone, you need a shit ton of it in order to have the effects that they're talking about. 1915, absinthe had been banned in the United States and much of Europe, including France, the Netherlands, Belgium, Switzerland, and Austria-Hungary. Yet, it has not been demonstrated to be any more dangerous than ordinary spirits. Why? Hater shit was on the horizon, you guys. Early 21st century, this was after the revival of absinthe in the 1990s. So people figured out, oh, absinthe isn't that bad. And so in the 1990s, you had like a new crowd. Nothing again is ever new. It's just old. So this new crowd picked up absinthe and they're like, oh shit, it's not really that bad. And then there just became something that was more like hip, and the hipsters, if you were cool, you drank absinthe because you were like not a part of the in crowd because you drink absinthe. Wormwood extracts and soaked wormwood leaves were used as remedies by the ancient Greeks. The first evidence of absinthe in the sense of a distilled spirit contained green anise and fennel and dates to the 18th century. According to popular legend, it began as an all-purpose patent remedy created by Dr. Pierre Ordinaire, a French doctor living in Covette, Switzerland, around 1792. give or take. Nobody really knows the date. His recipe was passed on to the Henriade sisters of Covet, who sold it as a medicinal elixir. Now, if you've tasted absinthe before, you can attest to that real medicinal flavor that it gives, okay? Because of the medicinal it does give. By other accounts, the Henriade sisters may have been making the elixir before Ordinaire's arrival. In either case, Pernod Ricard remained one of the most popular brands of absinthe until the drink was banned in France in 1914. Mind you, when absinthe came out, like, it was the drink to drink. Like, everybody was into it. Listen to this. Absinthe's popularity grew steadily through 1840s when it was given to French troops as a malaria preventative. Does it really prevent malaria? People, a lot of our ancestors, and this is not me talking down or talking bad about my ancestors at all, because you gotta start someplace, right? But a lot of our ancestors, they were just doing shit. They were just trying shit out. Like, you don't know what's happening. You're aware that in this situation, like, you don't know. This seems like this will help. That's how a lot of shit got discovered. People were like, this seems like this works, but I don't know. Let's try it. It was favored by all social classes, from the bourgeoisie to poor artists and ordinary working class people. By the 1880s, mass production had caused the price to drop sharply, and the French were drinking 36 million liters per year by 1910, compared to their annual consumption of almost 5 billion liters of wine. So you see how, like, wine was the top bitch? Wine was the top bitch, yes. And then absinthe came along and was like, new girl calling absinthe online. Oh, wine is like, what the fuck? Like, what the fuck is happening? Why are we, who's absent? Who's absent, right? They really sound like Chris Brown in this bitch. You know, they're used to killing it, and then absinthe came along, and they're making millions, a new kid on the block. Wine has been around since Jesus. You telling me a liquor is beating Jesus? Absinthe was exported widely from France and Switzerland and attained some degree of popularity in other countries, including Spain, the United Kingdom, the United States, and the Czech Republic. It was never banned in Spain or Portugal, and its production and consumption has never ceased. Shout out to Spain, shout out to Portugal for sticking to their guns. Gained a temporary spike in popularity there during the early 20th century, corresponding with the Art Nouveau and Modernism aesthetic movements. New Orleans has a cultural association with absinthe. It is credited as the birthplace of the Sazerac, perhaps the earliest absinthe cocktail. Bands, dun dun dun. This right here is when it started getting a little wonky for absinthe. Like, you can't be on top forever, right? I mean, some people can. Absinthe, they just had some major haters, and they had to go down. Let me get some water real quick, you guys. My mouth's a little dry. It's like dry. I got a dry, juicy mouth. Like, some parts dry, some parts juicy. Is that how everybody else's mouth is? Absinthe became associated with violent crimes and social disorder, and one modern writer claims that this trend was spurred by fabricated claims and smear campaigns, which he claims were orchestrated by the temperance movement and the wine industry. Bum, bum, bum. So one critic claimed absinthe makes you crazy and criminal, provokes epilepsy and tuberculosis, and has killed thousands of French people. It makes a ferocious beast of a man, a martyr of a woman, and a degenerate of the infant. It disorganizes and ruins the family and menaces the future of the country. Absinthe does all. Ooh, you see how propaganda works? You guys always research your shit, okay? Some of y'all just be out here propaganding, doing exactly what they want you to do, and you don't really even know the whys of what you're doing it for. So whatever you do, just research. That's all I'm saying. Just research. And this was the case I was telling you guys at the beginning. Remember I told you this guy killed his whole entire family, and he was the reason why they said, nah, we gotta kill absinthe. Peep this shit out. In 1905, Swiss farmer Jean Lanfray murdered his family and attempted to kill himself after drinking absinthe. Lanfray was an alcoholic who had drunk a lot of wine and brandy before the killing. See, he drank a lot of wine, but nobody shut down the wine industry. But that was overlooked or ignored, and blame for the murders was placed solely on his consumption of 2 glasses of absinthe. 2 glasses of absinthe. Like, so, bitch gotta go down? The Lanfray murders were the tipping point in the hotly debated topic, and a subsequent petition collected more than 82,000 signatures to ban it in Switzerland. A referendum was held on July 5th, 1908. It was approved by voters, and the prohibition of absinthe was written into the Swiss Constitution. It's a sad day in liquor history, folks. A sad day. In 1906, Belgium and Brazil banned the sale and distribution of absinthe, although these were not the first countries to take such action. It had been banned as early as 1898 in the colony of the Congo Free State. The Netherlands banned it in 1909, and Switzerland in 1910. The United States in 1912, and France, which is the biggest hater, was the last to ban it in 1914. Because absinthe had been banned, people like the taste of absinthe, right? It has like a little licorice herbal taste to it. So because that went out of the window for a little bit, people flocked to other things, other types of licorice or similar tasting spirits that saw a popularity, a spike during that time. Pastis, and I'm saying it incorrectly, but it says pastis. That's what it says. Is an anise flavored spirit and aperitif, traditionally from France, typically containing less than 100 grams of sugar and about 40 to 45% ABV. Ooh, it's just a high proof anise drink. It looks like lemon juice, like a lot of lemon juice. It's pronounced ouzo, is a dry anise flavored aperitif that is widely consumed in Greece. It seems like our boys are down bad right now, right? Nobody's really fucking with the absinthe game. Well, you guys, don't fret. Absinthe is coming back. British importer BBH Spirits began to import Hill's absinthe from the Czech Republic in the 1990s, as the UK had never formally banned it. Like, someone found a loophole. This sparked a modern resurgence in its popularity. It began to reappear during a revival in the 1990s in countries where it was never banned. In 2000, Lafay Absinthe became the first commercial absinthe distilled and bottled in France since the 1914 ban. But now it's one of dozens of brands that are produced and sold within France. So isn't that crazy? France once hated so hard on absinthe, and then they saw that everybody else were drinking absinthe, and then it became, well, I think that we should probably get absinthe too. We should bring this absinthe back. And now, back then they didn't want it, but now it's hot. They all on in France. I see what France is doing, and I am just glad that absinthe is back. So let's take a look at absinthe and what it looks like. This is absinthe. This is at least my absinthe. Remember how it says it can be green? Oh, let me take this filter off. I'm so sorry. I can't take the filter off. But it's pretty green, you guys. You can't see it. I'll take a picture and I'll put it in my story so you can see it. But it's like just like a chlorophyll green. Chlorophyll, if I could put into words what I think chlorophyll looks. This is like a chlorophyll green. Oh, it's Woo! Oh my goodness. That fennel. Oh my gosh, that fennel is absolutely crazy. That fennel's absolutely crazy. So it has like it has a drying effect. has like a drying effect on your tongue. Absinthe does. It does feel like it burns right down here. I don't absolutely love it. Yeah, so you should try. You should definitely try absinthe just so you can say that you've tried it. So thank you guys so much for joining me today. If you want to see more of me, please follow, subscribe, check out my YouTube channel, Diary of a Mad Black Bartender. I have awesome stuff on there, cocktails and stuff. And we're going to do a lot more cocktail stuff. I'm getting back to basics of living our cocktail life. So thank you guys so much. I hope you have a great day. Be safe, be sound, be loved. Bye.